He comes from a lineage of great sages, yogis, and saints from India. He began his spiritual journey at the age of 7 and was fully realized by the age of 14. During this time, he delved into different practices and acquired mastery over Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, Aghori practices, and Yaksha sadhana. He was a siddha, and many masters, saints, and sages used to visit him in solitude to gain wisdom and guidance from him since the tender age. Although he has been helping humanity since childhood, he never disclosed this part of him to the world, and only the advanced yogis and masters were aware of his divine presence. Only in the last 2 years he chose few people from the world and started guiding them in their spiritual paths, and those who have been closely associated with him have witnessed many miracles in his presence. Despite being a family person, he is a yogi and intends to help people entangled in this world achieve Jivan Mukti, liberation while being alive. He is truly in the world but not of the world, and if you really want to understand him, look him beyond his physical appearance and just sit with him, and you will never be the same again. In his presence you will transcend your body and mind and experience the state of Sat, absolute truth, Chit, pure consciousness, Ananda, eternal bliss. Let us fold our hands in front of his divinity and with a heart filled with gratitude and love welcome our spiritual guru, the realized soul, and our enlightened master, Guru Meenakshi Mishra.
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तयेन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीमहादेवाय नमः। तस्मै श्री सदाशिवाय नमः। ॐ पृथ्वी शान्ति, अंतरिक्ष शान्ति, सर्वं शान्तिः। अहं ब्रह्मास्मि। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन, स्वागत है सभी का टू दिस थर्ड पार्ट ऑफ the session that we started, death and the bliss beyond that. So although I started like doing some other session today, but I said let's keep the rhythm on. So there were a few more things that were left out so that we can discuss, we can talk about. And today I'm going to narrate again like few of the more stories, but these stories might be a little intense this time, rather than just the stories that you hear like just before you go to sleep. Rather, this is going to be a stories that will awake you. Little bit harsh stories, little bit terrifying ones might be, you can call it, if you are a weak heart. But be ready today to listen to all that. And rather than all those stories, I'll be talking about, आप सब कहते हो ना कि हमारे अंदर कुछ विकार रह गए हैं. Some issues within us. So how many issues do you think you have to deal with? Then some might say anger, fear. Then some would say attachments. And if you actually go on, you will find out around like 8 to 10 vices that you have. Yes or no? But Bhairav कितने हैं? 64. That many problems you have. That many vices you have. And today I'll talk about all those 64 types of problems that you have and that you have to get out of. So not 1, not 5, not 10, total 64 vices. Are you ready for that journey now? And at the end, I'll be talking about the selection process that has been done and how to go ahead with it. Okay. So let's begin the journey. Close your eyes and just listen to what I'm going to say now. बिल्कुल शांत चित्त स्वभाव से बैठ जाए. Find your own peace. Breathe easy. Because today, before even I tell you the stories, I'll get you into a meditative state so that the stories make more sense to us. So today, what I'm going to narrate and tell you are actually the stories of Ananda Bhairava that has been whispered across the centuries, not in the books, not in the society, but in the caves of the fearless. And these stories were only told to those who dare to look beyond death. So today, whatever story I'm going to narrate, whatever things I'm going to tell, don't listen it with your ears. Listen with the marrow of your bones. For these truths will set your soul on fire. And these realizations will pave another path, another way, another learning to your own liberation. And you will know that there is so much, yet there is a way out of all it. There might be many things, but there is the way is always one. And that's how we are going to work on this. So, O seekers of the Bhairava, O seekers of the fearless bliss, today we will step into the roaring silence of Ananda Bhairava again. These stories will burn your illusions. Some stories might be a little terrifying to the weak corners of your heart. Yet, it will also open you to a nectar so powerful that you will never taste the still water of ordinary life again. ये ऐसी कहानियां हैं जो कहानी आपको शायद भयभीत कर सकती हैं, जो आपके इल्यूजन्स जो हैं उस सब को दूर कर सकती हैं, आपके अंदर एक अमृत की धारा घोल सकती है और आपको ऐसे स्थिति में लेके जा सकती है जहां ये संसार के दूषित जल आप तक पहुंच भी ना पाए. And as I said, these are not bedtime stories, rather the awakening stories. These are the living truths passed from mouth to ear, bone to bone, in the settings of cremation grounds, under the moonless skies, in the hearts of those who wish to be truly free. As we have discussed last time, Ananda Bhairava is not gentle. He is not easy. He is the destroyer of masks, the lover of bones, the dancer on the ashes of illusion. But he is also the greatest friend you will ever find. The one who hands you the gift of immortality after everything false has been burned away. So today, all these stories, may this become the seed of a spark within you, a spark that makes you question every false comfort you hold, and a spark that makes you fall trembling into your own unstoppable truth. So today, bow your mind to silence now. Breathe deep, surrender as we begin. With continuing to keep your eyes closed, feel your body. अपने शरीर को महसूस करें. Feel your body and feel your body heavy as a corpse on the pyre. अपने शरीर को मानो जैसे एक लाश चिता के ऊपर बैठी हुई हो. Heavy as a corpse on the pyre. Feel your breath. You are experiencing yourself and trying to imagine yourself as a dead body yet breathing. Feel your breath as if it was the last breath you will ever take. अगर ये आपकी आखिरी सांसें हो, तो आप सांसें कैसे लोगे? What kind of breath would you take in? So breathe. Breathe as if this is your last. Now, as you are breathing the last breath, because none of us know, that might be true. But if this is the last breath, now you can visualize yourself or imagine that you are sitting in a vast cremation ground under a midnight sky. And the flames of countless pyres flicker all around you. Dogs roam, jackals howl, the smell of burning is thick. Yet, in the center of it all, there stands Ananda Bhairava, smiling, decked up in skulls, a black flame of absolute peace. Experience Bhairava in the cremation ground. And as you look at him, he raises his Trishula, the trident. He points it at your illusions, your fears, your pride, your regrets, your hungers. One by one, they catch fire, and you watch them burn. Now, as you watch all these things burn, now Bhairava pours a drop of nectar into your mouth. Taste it. It is Paramananda, the bliss beyond reason. Stay with that taste, even if the mind trembles. He is telling you, you are deathless. Breathe gently. Feel your spine straight as a Trishula. Feel your heart fierce as Bhairava's laugh, and prepare to listen. Now, what if I say, if you imagine your spine like a rod, and when you go up towards face, the both eyes and the third eye, if all of three awake and your spine becomes the rod, won't it look like the trident itself? Won't it be the Trishula itself? So when you say Bhairava is holding a trident, Bhairava is holding you by your spine. When you say it has the Trishula, and you all know the middle of the Trishula is the one that pierces through, the other two follow. And that's how your third eye, the Agna Chakra, will pierce through your illusions, and other two eyes will follow. You are not just a human. You are the Trishula of the Bhairava itself. And when you are ready, awake and open your eyes when you feel like. Feeling absolutely powerful, feeling that it is holding you in its hand, knowing that you are that power of Bhairava. How many of you have ever imagined Trishula in that way? How many of you have seen that trident that Shiva holds is nowhere else? It's all within you. And he's not holding you by your hands. He's holding you by your spine. Now tell, do you still fear? You still have illusions. And now, as you have found that power within you, this is what Siddha Paramparas do to you. They awake you in the most subtlest way and make you the most powerful. And now, with this feeling that you have right now, you know, can you shake now? If somebody like the Bhairava is holding you, and always remember, whenever you have doubts, feel that as if he is holding. And I know that you already are feeling that he is holding you somewhere in your spine. And that feeling must be felt, might be towards the back of your body. You actually feel that somebody is there who is holding it. वो हाथ आपको महसूस होगा. So if that is the case and now you are ready, let me tell you some of the stories of Bhairava that I did not knew that I will be speaking on camera. Many of the experiences, many of the stories are not actually stories, but historical events seen by my own self, being a part of it. And now I bring you the stories. Let me start with a story that I can call, I have come up with beautiful names for that. I call it the feast. The feast of ashes. Not of food, not of delicacies. The feast of ashes. Rakh. And when I say, you can listen to all these stories again with your open eyes. You can listen to these stories with your heart. And you can listen to these stories with your bones. And when I say you will listen to the stories with the bones, you will understand why I am saying that in some time. So as the stories always narrate, there was a forest where hundreds of tantrics have gathered for power. Day and night they performed rituals to gain wealth, charm, illusions, powers. Their mantras rang hollow because it was all born only for greed, only out of greed. वो मंत्र जाप तो करते थे लेकिन उनके मंत्र में कुछ प्राप्त करने की लालसा थी, इसीलिए उनके मंत्र खाली पड़ जाते थे. And then one night a great wind roared through that forest. And when that wind came, it was carrying the scent of burnt flesh and jasmine at the same time. And when this was coming, what they saw a youth who came in front of them. He was clad in a tiger skin, holding a kapala of blood. And when he came in front of them, he began to laugh. A cosmic, unstoppable laughter that made even ghosts tremble. He looked at the tantrics and he started dancing among their yantras, among their gold, among their skulls. And as he danced, he reduced all of it into ashes in just a heartbeat. The tantrics first screamed, and the more and more the tantrics screamed, the more and more simply he sang. And he said, your siddhis are dust, your illusions are dust, your very breath is dust. You think you have achieved so many siddhis. It all comes from greed. these are all dust. And in that moment, he then takes the ashes that he created from all the gold, all the yantras, all the skulls. He just holds those ashes in his hands and mixes them in his bowl, kapala, with the nectar, and fed them back to the tantrics, breaking their pride, awakening their souls in a single terrifying act of grace. Since then, Ananda Bhairava is known as Bhasma Bhojaka, the one who feasts upon your ashes and makes them as sweet as the Amrita itself. That's Ananda Bhairava. Terrifying act of grace. Can you see? That's why I call it absolute pure raw. What did he do? He said, all your sadhana, all your things that you have done is all dust, all ashes. Now he feeds them with that ashes itself. Means, तुम्हारा ego तुम्ही को खिलाएगा. So that you come to taste your own ego, because your own ego will defeat your own ego. And that's why he's known as the Bhasma Bhojaka. Have you ever heard about Bhairavas these qualities? And that's why I say what I am going to narrate is not for the general people sleeping in this world. Those who keep on telling stories about Bhairav, Bhairav ऐसा है, Bhairav वैसा है. क्या पता तुम्हें भैरव कैसा है? You have never heard it. Shall I continue? So ये था भस्म भोजक भैरवा. Then I bring another story from another night. And this story is quite similar to the one that I said last time. Might be with a little twist into that. And I gave it a name, The Night of 100 Corpses. Although the number was more, but I have just kept it to a smaller count. The Night of 100 Corpses. In a distant village smashana, legends speak of a terrible plague that left 100 uncremated bodies rotting. None dared enter. The stench of the death was thick, and the spirits howled in confusion. Just think of a dreadful situation where the dead bodies are rotting, the souls have not gotten their pathway, still confused roaming, and no one dares to even go to cremate them because it was plagued. Who will arrive in this moment? Of course, Ananda Bhairava arrived. And he was clothed not in tiger skin this time. He was clothed in absolute night. मानो जैसे रात को ही पहन के आया हो. He was so dark. And when he arrived, he was carrying only a small flame in his skull bowl. and he just sat among the hundreds of corpses, closed his eyes, and began to laugh. And as he laughed, it became chanting, and slowly, one by one by one by one, the spirits of the dead rose up, still clinging to their regrets, their lusts, their unfinished desires. And as these spirits were clinged to all of it, Bhairava roared so loud that the bones themselves start shaking. And he said, "You are free." And with that roar, he ripped their illusions. So they flew to liberation like sparks from a holy fire. The jackals howled, the ground trembled, and even Yama himself stood still watching. Ananda Bhairava showed that no one, not even the most decayed soul, is beyond the ecstasy of liberation. And that's where he came to be known as the best friend even of the decayed soul, the Mitra, the Atma Mitra. And his full name came as Smashana Atma Mitra. The closest friend of mine in the ground of the cremation. That's another name of Ananda Bhairava, another form of Ananda Bhairava. Then I have been telling you that listen it from your bones, listen it from your bones, listen it from your bones. Because another incident that I am going to narrate, I gave it a name and I call it the lover of bones. Quite different than what we speak always, right? And that's why I say I never even thought that I will be talking all this. And these are just the scraping grounds. Because what we all carry within us as good and bad and this and that, it's all moved. It's just like this, I look so beautiful, I look so handsome, that we say. How thick is that beauty? How thick is that handsomeness? Just that peel off the skin and all your beauty and all your handsomeness goes away somewhere. The lust that you carry by looking at someone and just peel off it. And let's say, if you still have that, the attraction that we speak of, just peel off the skin and let's see if you still have that feeling. And Ananda Bhairava will peel off all that. And that's why I gave it a name. He is not the lover of the skin, he is the lover of the bone. Deep down core who you are. And that's where might be my language, might be deceit, might be hurtful to some people. But if you feel hurted with the words, how will you even come out of what you are dragged into in this world? So, this incident, the lover of the bones. Very few know this secret because Ananda Bhairava is also known as the Asti Priya. Asti means bones. Priya means the lover of it. So when I say the small incident of Asti Priya, let me tell you why his name fell like that. You know why he cherishes bones so much? Why he always holds a kapala in his hand? Why I call him the Asti Priya? It's not because of bones the way it is, because he cherishes what is indestructible. Now think what I'm saying. Flesh will rot, names will vanish, kingdoms will fall, but bones remain. Have you seen the geographical channels? They still go and find carcasses. They still go and find the remains of the bones. They still go. That means somehow, somewhere, as many lives that you might have walked this earth still conserves a part of you. You did not just appeared and vanished. Some part of you still exists, even that you have forgotten. Are the bone indestructible? Because even when something is burnt, still something remains. And that's you collect as asti. And Bhairava does not love bones, he loves that is indestructible. The you that is indestructible. And once it is said that there was a queen who was an ardent devotee of Bhairava. But towards the end of her life, she had to go through a lot of turmoils. And finally, the queen died in sorrow. Her palace was burnt, her jewels were stolen. But when everything was taken away, and as she has lived a life as a ardent devotee of Bhairava, at his death, Bhairava came and gathered all the bones. And when he was collecting all the bones of that dead queen, Asti, he was singing to them as if they were divine pearls. He cleaned them with Ganga water, anointed them with sandalwood, and then slowly whispered into the bones, "You are still glorious. You are still beyond death." Then merging her spirit with his own bliss, he transformed her into a Bhairavi, crowned not with gold, but with immortal wisdom. He is the one who sees the beauty in what the world throws away. संसार जिसे फेंक देता है वो उसमें भी सुंदरता देख लेता है, इसीलिए हम उसे कहते हैं अस्ति प्रिय, the lover of bones. Now, the first time you might have heard that the lover of bones is something that is so terrifying. But what is the truth behind that? The indestructible you. Now, when I was questioned like, is duality reality? Then even you now know a part of duality is also indestructible, lives for ages and ages and ages, even when the one residing in it has long gone. And that's the story of Ananda Bhairava as the Astipriya. And now, let me take you through an experience that you again will see during the sadhana someday. This also is like a similar thing that I said last time, that there is a story when you are in the cremation ground and you are burning. But this has a quite different way of looking at that. Like in the initiation, when a sadhak especially enters into that parampara, they narrate this story and they say that you are brave enough, then listen to it. And if you truly wish to know Bhairava, he will again come to you in your dream. And as I have said last time, in your dream, you will stand before 5 blazing pyres, 5 jalte hue chitaon ke samne. And each pyre will burn away something. Your pride, your fears, your illusions, your memories, your identity. Pride, fear, illusion, memory, identity. And Bhairava will stand beyond them, smiling, blacker than the night itself, darker than the night itself, holding out his hand. If you can walk through all 5 pyres, you will emerge bare, raw, beyond death and birth, beyond even the need of a name. That's Ananda Bhairava. He will reduce you to your bones. He will reduce you to your bones and then teach you to dance. And that's why he is known as the Kankala Nrityaka, the Kankala Nartaka. Because he will shave down all that you are, dive deep into your skeleton, and then make you dance. Kankala Nartaka. That's Bhairava. But sometimes won't you even wonder, नाम कितना अच्छा है, आनंद भैरव. जब पहली बार मैंने सुना, मुझे लगा हा कितना आनंद आएगा बस उसके बारे में सुन के. How beautiful, how serene, how amazing that name is. That means all that we are going to feel is Ananda. Yeah, before you become the Ananda itself, all that you are not should be taken away, because your core is Ananda itself. Until you remove all that covering that you have put on over you again and again in the lives after lives after lives, if that is not torn apart, what will happen? So let it turn apart. May the skeleton dance. That's what we say. We still remember in our childhood there used to come some song in that the skeletals used to dance. I don't remember the song anyways. But when I first saw that, it was a long time ago, right? And before that I have experienced this part. So I said, oh, so you don't even know what you are doing. And that's still, if you now from here on, like what will happen to you if you see any movie or any song or anything where the skeletals and dancing, you say, oh, so this is me. And on whose tune are you dancing now? You will be dancing not just on the tunes, but along with the Kankala Nartaka, the dancer, the skeletal dancer. For the first time, you must be so happy not looking at your face, but looking at your bones. For the first time, you have not just felt, oh, so how beautiful I am. You might be thinking how beautiful the bones would be. For the first time, you might be thinking like, oh, who would be taking care of me? Now you know who will take care of you. Now, when we have all these worries, like what would happen to me? Now you know what will happen to you. Either he will dance and crush you and भक्षण कर लेगा, या तो नृत्य सिखा देगा, या तो जला देगा. ये है आनंद. अगर ये आनंद है तो हम जिसमें ढूंढ रहे हैं वो सब क्या था? मिला क्या? Wherever you have searched, whatever you have sought, have you found it? Especially in this world. Because the outer makeup won't last. Shall I continue? Are you okay to burn further? एक बात बताओ, ये सब बातें सुन के जल रहे हो या मुक्त हो रहे हो? Are these talks burning you or freeing you? Because now when you are listening about death and all these things and you are still feeling like dancing, you know what's happening to you? You are absolutely going crazy. That's what people will say. Death is craziness. Who will pick up all your bones and sing to that? Just tell me. And that's what I say. If you have ever thought of Bhairava even once, and even nobody does any cremation to your body, he will take care of it. That's what it has indicated. अब सोचो, आपका अस्थि विसर्जन कोई मनुष्य नहीं कर रहा है, भैरव स्वयं कर रहा है. क्या होगा आपका? That's what. That's why I want to bring it into your lives. Because there are so many things that are taken care in the life itself. But you need a friend beyond that, right? And that's why this friend is being introduced. How many of you like your new found friend that uproots you from your core? जो आपको जड़ से उखाड़ देता है, ऐसा दोस्त, ऐसा मित्र. My God. If you thought he has already uprooted you, shall I continue? Now, from the skin to the flesh to the bones to the marrows, he will slowly travel to each part of you, layer by layer. You know, there is something called as a scalpel blade. Okay, जहाँ पे जब सर्जरी होता है ना, scalpel blade यूज होता है. It cuts very thin. Even when we do the eye surgeries, we use scalpel blade to just cut the cornea above the line on the limbus. So this is what actually he does. He cuts you so thin that you won't feel it, but you are cut down into your core. Shall I use the scalpel further? Okay. There was one day when the gods wept. मतलब जो देवता कहते हैं ना वो सब रो रहे थे. दैट वाज वन फाइन सच डे. अच्छा, क्यों रो रहे थे? व्हाई वर दे क्राइंग? Not because any Rakshasa has taken away their kingdom. No, nothing as such. That day, the Devatas were crying. The Devas were crying because they were once fearful of Bhairava's form. They slowly approached him, and as he continued to dance on the cremation grounds, the Devatas asked them, "Why do you smile over the corpses of the mortals? तुम ये मनुष्य के लाशों के ऊपर क्यों नाचते हो? Why do you rejoice among so much of ruin?" मतलब सब कुछ जहां नष्ट हो चुका है वहां तुम इतने आनंदित कैसे रह सकते हो? And more than that, the gods asked, "Why do you dance over our kids?" हमारे बनाए हुए मनुष्य के शरीर के ऊपर तुम क्यों नृत्य करते हो? Why? And then Bhairava does one thing. He just paused for a moment, takes out his Trishula, and the tip of his Trishula, he pointed to the ashes swirling in the wind. मतलब वो राख को एक बार अपने त्रिशूल से ऐसे ऐसे कर देता है और वो राख उड़ने लगता है हवा में. और जैसे वो राख उड़ने लगता है, when that ashes starts to fly in the air, he laughs and says, "This is freedom. No karma can bind ash. No birth claims ash. Only in this state is there true bliss. And that's why I dance, and that's why I smear it." And then he says to the Devas, because they were weeping like babies, "Why are you dancing like this? Why do you do all this?" The Devas now wept because now they realized they themselves were still clinging to heaven. They were still clinging to their illusions. And that's why Bhairava is not just a Deva, he comes from Mahadeva itself, the one who is beyond. And that day, I can say, Bhairava, with a single glance at you, he can absolutely remind you your own truth that is so sharp that it will not cut you from outside, it will cut you from inside. वो आपको बाहर से नहीं काटेगा, वो आपको ऐसे देखेगा और उस सच्चाई में इतनी धार होगी वो आपको अंदर से काट देगा. And it will actually cut down your heart itself. That's how the Bhairava works. Because what you fear is exactly what will set you free. आप जिस चीज से डरते हो वही चीज आपको मुक्त कर देगा. जिस भैरव से डरते हो वही भैरव आपको मुक्त कर देगा. And now, sit close, dear ones, sit close. Because now what I'm going to narrate are the secret flames of either Ananda Bhairava. I come with more. Now sit tightly because things might become a little bit more trending, more worrisome, more gore. Shall I? और shall I tell you the stories? आनंद भैरव मस्त बैठता है और मेडिटेशन करता है। आनंद भैरव बस ध्यान में मग्न रहता है, सुंदर, सुशील, शांत, जैसे हम गाते हैं ना, शिवम शिवकरम शांतम शिवात्मनं शिवोत्तमं शिवमार्गप्रणितार्थं प्रणमामि सदा शिवम् प्रणमामि सदा शिवम् प्रणमामि सदा शिवम्. Now you know Shiva, when you look at Shiva sitting silently, he's like a tornado sitting silently, meditating. When you sit meditating, what happens to you? At times, so many things goes on within us. In that moment, think as if you are a tornado meditating like Shiva. Then you will see that turmoil that happens within you, the whirlpool that goes on within you, that drowns you within itself, will become your ground of ecstasy. Learn the art, being a tornado, meditating. What would that form be looking like? How powerful you would be, knowing that you are a tornado, powerful enough to create chaos, yet sitting in the most benevolent way. Now look at Shiva. What do you see? It's like that. So now, let me pierce your heart with the Trishula, for truth is never gentle. लोग कहते हैं सत्यता कड़वा होता है। कड़वा इसलिए होता है क्योंकि वो सत्य सुनना नहीं चाहते। Truth is never bitter. Truth is bitter for those who don't want to listen. Because they want to live in that illusion, that's why they say truth is bitter. The one who has learned to live in truth will enjoy the ecstasy of eternity. हम अपने आप को शरीर मानते हैं, ये संसार में मानते हैं, इसीलिए दुख पीड़ा के जरिए गति करते हैं, और हम मृत्यु के बारे में सुनना नहीं चाहते क्योंकि हमको लगता है कि सत्यता कड़वा है। लेकिन जिसने उसको अपना लिया, द वन हु हैज एक्सेप्टेड दैट ट्रूथ, इट इज फ्री फॉर एटर्निटी, dancing on the illusion, not in the illusion. That makes all the difference. Are you dancing in chaos or on chaos? Are two different things altogether. तो किसी ने कहा ना कि there was a saying that there was a old sage in the Himalayas, and he was quite plumpy, hefty, heavy. So there used to be a doctor who used to be his devotee. So he always used to go to check, like, itna, he should be taking care of his guru, it seems like. So he always used to go there, and he was like very thin, never gained any weight. So एक दिन जाता है, बोलता है, महाराज आप ऐसे हुष्ट पुष्ट कैसे रहते हो? Means how do you even maintain that so plumminess, because you don't even get food here. आप इस तंद्रा में रहते हो जहां खान पान की भी व्यवस्था नहीं है, लेकिन इतने गोल मटोल कैसे हो गए? So he looks at him and he says, but from where you came there is enough food, right? तुम जहां से आते हो वहां तो खूब खाद्य है, खुद सुविधाएं हैं, तुम ऐसे क्यों हो? I will not use that word actually, what he said. क्योंकि इन्होंने उसको कहा कि तू गोल मटोल है, चलो बोल ही देते, तुमने तू इतना सुकड़ा क्यों है? एंड देन इसे क्या करे महाराज, चिंताएं। तो महाराज हंसते हैं और कहते हैं, हाँ, चिंता तुम्हें खा जाती है इसलिए तुम सुकड़े हो, और हम चिंताओं को खा जाते हैं इसलिए गोल मटोल है। सो दैट्स व्हाट आई से, चिंता आपको खाती है या आप चिंताओं को खा जाते हो, दैट मेक्स ऑल द डिफरेंस। दैट्स व्हाट आई से, dancing in and dancing on are two different things altogether. आय आप माया में नाचते हो या माया के ऊपर नाचते हो, that makes all the difference. And that's where Ananda Bhairava comes into play. As I have prepared you, I feel like none of you fear death now, isn't it? Up until somebody puts a gun to your head. Up until the doctor says, oh, you might have this disease. Up until your knees start crying, oh, there is a lot of pain. And your belly says, breakfast ka time ho gaya hai. Up until then, you are fearless of death. But the moment all these things comes into play, again you go into the clinging of Maya. I still remember one thing, like there was a day when Krishna was in Dwarka, दांतुन कर रहे थे. The story goes like that. He's brushing his teeth. Okay. हाँ, कृष्ण दांतुन किया करते होंगे, नहीं तो कैसे, मतलब he had a beautiful smile anyways, right? So maintain तो करना पड़ता होगा ना. And everybody knows his name itself. कृष्ण का मतलब ही होता है सुंदर. हाँ, तो क्या करता है, like दांतुन कर, like he's brushing his teeth. And सत्यभामा, she was standing and providing all the things. Like it seems like Krishna is brushing. Let's think of this situation. Krishna is standing brushing his teeth. Satyabhama is holding water so that he can wash his mouth. Let's think of this. What a beautiful scenery it would have been in that space. And then Krishna, while like brushing his teeth, suddenly stops and looks at something and laughs. And he laughs so loud that Satyabhama thinks, oh, I might have done something wrong. कुछ गलती हो गई क्या मुझसे? Why are you laughing? Krishna says, oh, I'm laughing at that ant. वो चींटी के ऊपर हंस रहा. बोला क्यों? ना देख कैसे दूसरे चींटी के पीछे भाग रहा है. One ant is running after another ant. Satyabhama said, why are you laughing? 13 times I have made him Indra. You understood the story, right? मैंने उसे 13 बार इंद्र बना चुका हूं, लेकिन अपनी वासनाओं से मुक्त नहीं हो पाया. अभी भी एक चींटी के पीछे भाग रहा है, चींटी बन के. आप किसी के पीछे भाग रहे हो? आप कितने बार इंद्र बन चुके हो? बने तो होंगे. अब भगवान के पास रोल्स कितने होंगे? कुछ तो रोल दिया होगा आपको. हाँ, तो कोई ना कोई रोल तो निभा चुके हो आप. किसके पीछे भाग रहे हो अभी? आई स्टिल लुक एट समटाइम्स ऐसे, अच्छा ऊपर की तरफ देखते, बोले ऊपर की तरफ मन हुआ, ऊपर की तरफ देख लिए, अरे क्या कर रहे हो ना, कभी कभी ऊपर की तरफ कर देख के ये सोचता हूँ कि कृष्ण शायद अभी ब्रश कर रहा होगा और हमारे तरफ देख के सोच रहा होगा, देख चींटी किसके पीछे भाग रहा है, और हमारे ऊपर तो और जोर जोर से हंस रहा होगा। ये तो कम से कम चींटी है, चींटी के पीछे भाग रहा है, मैंने इसे मनुष्य बनाया और ये मेरे माया के पीछे भाग रहा है। किस माया के पीछे? जो दिखाई भी नहीं देता। व्हाट्स आवर कंडीशन? व्हाट आर वी डूइंग? कहानी याद रहेगी ना? You'll remember the story, like whenever you are pulled to someone, somewhere, some things, you know what to think of. कृष्ण ब्रश कर रहे हैं। I typically chose this word because you will never forget. Now, can you ever forget that कृष्ण ब्रश कर रहे हैं? And that's how you can register things in your mind. And that's why I told this, सोचो कृष्ण ब्रश कर रहे हैं और सत्यभामा साइड में पानी लेके खड़ी हुई है। Now, whenever you are lost in this world, just look upwards. ध्यान से देखना कृष्ण ब्रश कर रहे होंगे, and then you will cut down on your the pull towards that world in fraction of a second. देखे, शक्ति है कहानी में, कहानी में भी शक्ति है और कहानी शक्ति की ही है। Okay, so we have some time, let me continue. And now that, let me narrate another one. इसको मैं कह सकता हूं कि द मैन विथ ए शेवर्ड हेड, एक ऐसा इंसान जिसके हाथ में एक कटा हुआ सर। Again, it comes from like not just stories, just listen to it. And a long time ago there used to live a sadhu, and this sadhu was very proud of his knowledge. अपने ज्ञान का उसे अज्ञान हो गया था। Good way of saying it, right? ज्ञान का अज्ञान हो जाना। जैसे हम कभी कभी अपने ज्ञान में ही अज्ञानी बन जाते हैं। So उसी भांति एक साधु थे, like he was lost in his own proudness of his knowledge. And you know what? He thought that even Bhairava would bow to him. जैसे रावण को लगा था कि राम उसके सामने झुक जाएंगे, जैसे कंस को लगा था कि कृष्ण उसके सामने झुक जाएंगे, ऐसे इस प्राणी को लगा था कि भैरव उसके सामने झुक जाएगा। क्योंकि मैंने कई सारे लोगों को देखा है आज के दुनिया में वीडियो बनाते हुए, मैं काली को ऐसे पकड़ के लेके आ सकता हूं, मैं भैरव को झुका सकता हूं। बोला आएगा तो पहले तेरी पैंट गीली हो जाएगी, पकड़ना दूर की बात है। और सिर्फ गीली नहीं, हरा हो जाएगा। एंड यू शुड नो व्हाट आई एम स्पीकिंग ऑफ। एंड लिटरली पीपल आर सेइंग मैं काली कैसे बाल पकड़ के लेके आके, हाँ बेटा। मैं बोला तेरा हाथ रहेगा? अरे जो एक नारी के बाल पकड़ने को जाता है उसका हाथ कट जाता है, तू काली के बाल पकड़ेगा? समझ के रखा है। So this sadhu, he was so lost in his siddhis and powers and knowledge that he thought that Bhairava would bow down to him. Do you think only those kind of people do? I have heard people now in few days in my known circles, भैरव मुझे पूछ के मेरे घर आता है, तेरा घर नहीं कुछ और हो गया। तू ऐसा क्या हो गया कि भैरव तेरी आज्ञा लेके तेरे घर में प्रवेश करे? मतलब कितना अज्ञान हो सकता है तुम में, और कितना घमंड आ सकता है तुम में। मतलब मानो वो कहे कि कृष्ण ना जिधर भी जाता है मुझे पूछ के जाता है। क्यों? कृष्ण तुम्हारा नौकर है। हाउ डेयर यू स्पीक ऑल दिस अबाउट दोज डेटीज? अरे उसका नाम लेने से तुम झुक जाना चाहिए उसके सामने। Your head should bow down automatically just by the name itself, just by the giganticness that they carry. उसके सामने तुम टिक पाओगे? अपने सामने तुम टिक पाओगे? कैन यू इवन स्टैंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू इन योर ट्रूथ? कैन यू इवन लुक एट यू? You cannot even look at your own self in your truth. And then he was thinking like Bhairava would bow down to him. और भैरव भैरव है। And this, I don't even call it a sadhu. I can call it a, I, any name that I call would not justify. अगर तांत्रिक भी बोलूं तो भी सही नहीं होगा, because all tantrics are not like that. Still, just for our understanding, let's call it a tantric. He wanted to make Bhairav bow down to himself. So night after night after night, he used to do all kind of sadhanas and all kind of things, that mantras, chantings, yagnas, homas, whatever he could do. Night after night, he continued to do, hoping he will command all the spirits one day, so that those spirit will help him bow down the Bhairava in front of him. Now think of kis kadar ki murkhta. He will bring the spirits and the spirits will hold Bhairava and bow down inside. That's where but what happens? All these things he was continuing to do. So one night, in his vision, kya dekhta hai? Like he sees a vision, and in his vision he sees like it is a stark dark night, and Bhairava came with his kapala, laughing. By now you know one secret at least. कैसे पता चलेगा कि वो भैरव है और आनंद भैरव है? दो क्वालिटीज उसके साथ हमेशा चलेंगे. द थर्ड, दैट द फर्स्ट वन वी सेड वाज दैट dogs, right? 4 dogs. But the most sincere, simple way is he will laugh and he will have a kapala in his hand. जो कापालिक संप्रदाय है, इनकी बड़ी व्याख्या करते हैं. ठीक. So he will come this way. So this Bhairava came, he was laughing and he was holding his kapala. And in that moment, he used the kapala itself to strike the tantric. And once he pounced the tantric with the skull itself, the tantric's head rolled on the ground. Shall I tell you this story or shall I stop here? Because later you will realize who that tantric is. Later on you will realize what he did. Because once he struck the sadhu's head, the head was rolling on the ground away from his shoulders. And now the sadhu's spirit starts screaming. But Bhairava held the severed head high, saying, "You have studied all words. You have studied everything, but you have never known what silence is, because within you, chaos persists." तू सब कुछ सीख गया, अंदर शांत नहीं बैठ पाया. You've never learned that art of being silent within your own self. Although you appeared so silent outside, but that violence was still going within you, because when you were sitting like a silent statue, you were thinking of violent actions that you take against me. At times we sit silently, smiling, but we all know what khichdi is being prepared within. When we don't like certain people and we have to be amidst them, and then we look at all of them smiling because everyone is smiling. And just look at my hand. This is what is going on within you. And the smile goes on here, but something is going on within you. The bomb is being prepared. You are just thinking, agar mauka milta. Have you experienced this or not? Is that your truth or not? Because until you face your truth, you cannot win over it. Is it not? कितने बार आपने अपने अंदर ही थप्पड़ मार दिए होंगे किसी को? बाहर नहीं मार पाए, अंदर मार दिए होंगे. And don't know how many times you have killed so many people within you, might not be outside. Yes or no? You cannot hide that back because that's the nature of human. It cannot tell, it can imagine, it cannot bring it out, it will do it all within. That's what we are. But here, what he's doing, he's holding his the severed head in his hand and says, you have studied all words, but never learned how to be silent. Then he does one more thing. He brings out his trident, puts the head on the trident and holds it up. And for that moment, the sadhu saw everything. When the sadhu was sitting on the trident, the sadhu's head was sitting on the trident, it saw everything. The worlds, the heavens, the gods, spinning and burning until nothing remained but an infinite bliss. Then the Bhairava placed the head gently back on the body, awakening him. The sadhu rose, humbled, fearless, and for the first time truly feeling alive. Since then, Bhairava is also called the Mundamala, the Mundamalini, the one who wears the severed heads as garlands of wisdom. Now let's know who that Tantric must be, why Bhairava did this to him, why the Tantric head was held high, and why the Tantric's head was kept on the trident. Shall I narrate to you? The Tantric is no one but our ego that wants to win over everything, doing all kinds of drama and dilemmas, creating all kind of chaos as well as dramas all around, trying to win over everything. And even at times thinking, I can even bow down Bhairava in front of me. And then Bhairava appears, cut it down from you, means he severs the ego that you carry. Then he holds that ego high and says, you have learned so many things, become so inflated, never knew what truth is. And then he puts the head on the trident. What is the trident now? What did we learn about the trident? The trident is the one when the spine and the 3 eyes, means when the Agna Chakra awakens, when that ego is put on the Agna Chakra, the Agni that burns and gives the Agna at the same time, that is where it sees the true things and the ego dissolves. That's how Bhairava works. At times it will cut you down. At times it will bring a bowl of elixir to you. At times it will speak to you, sing to you, dance with you. And at times it will burn you down. But I have talked all this. What about the Mundamala that he wears? Because he wears 64 heads. And there are 64 Bhairavas representing each qualities that they have. They will help you cut it down. 64 भैरव, अष्ट महाभैरव और उनके स्वरूप 64 भैरव. 7 each under the Mahabhairavas. Shall I continue because it's nearing breakfast time? Of course, for people in India. US people must have completed their dinner anyways. Or you are yet to, oh no, it is not dinner time. It's still there, time is still there. But I believe breakfast and dinners have been prepared. So you can sit here. Shall I continue? Because now I'm going to rush through 64 things that are your favorites. जो आपको बांध देते हैं, ऐसे 64 चीजें जो आपको ये संसार में बांध देती है. आपको 6-8 पता थे, हम आपकी दुविधाएं बढ़ाने वाले हैं. You are happy that, oh, at least I have 3-4 problems in my life. Now I am going to add to that 64. Now you sit and count which one is a better one or a bitter one. अब बताओ, क्या ऐसे जगह पे जाना चाहोगे जहां पे आपकी परिस्थितियां विकृत हो जाए? एक दो चीजों से बचने की कोशिश कर रहे तो अब हम और ऐड कर देंगे उसमें. लाइक इफ यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ लाइक इट वाज डिफिकल्ट टू कम आउट ऑफ 2-3, I just have 2-3 problems. One is I become angry. I at times have my mood swings are there, and I just shout at times. But these are only the 3 things, and I'm going to add all 64 to that. What you thought that you are very good with, even those will look at like a trident and they will pierce you and prick you. Ready to be pricked after burnt? You feel like a steak anyways, right? मतलब killed and then burnt and then rolled over the fire. है ना, बड़ा अजीब चीज है नहीं? But are you ready for that? 64 vices. Or rather, I can call it the 64 skulls of desire. These are the hidden tales, stories that are actually passed on again to the sadhaks of the deepest of the tantric paramparas. And I believe, like, as you are getting ready for this upcoming initiation, this time you might have a feeling that I also feel in the same way. This time you are not prepared for Guru Purnima. You are actually prepared for Ananda Bhairava initiation. It does not feel like Guru Purnima this time. It feels something else. Because I for sure know people have not prepared anything for Guru Purnima's evening part, but everybody is busy doing the part for the morning hours. Hari bhai. So nobody knows what's happening in the evening. I said, that's your job. I am preparing myself for my job. But Hari bhai का problem क्या है जानते हो? He has both the jobs. So he has to take care of it. He knows Hari Katha, nahi, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. So let's see what he does. Now these 64 skulls that he wears as a garland. It is said that Ananda Bhairav's neck is always, when he dances, it is, matlab socho ek baar, like how it would be. If I put a garland of heads on you and you are dancing, now how the heads will swing, huh? That's how Bhairava dances. कुछ लोग तो महसूस भी कर लिए कैसा लगता होगा. Some people even felt it in that moment, because the moment I said Bhairava is dancing and now you feel like, oh, I am dancing and the heads are swelling somewhere else. मतलब रावण के तो 10 से आपके 65 हैं, 65. Because ये भी तो एक है ना, मतलब 64 already there and one more here. तो आपको क्या नाम दूं, मुझे शायद हिंदी में उतना समझ नहीं आता, शायद आभा जी या सुधा जी कुछ अगर मदद कर सके कि रावण के 10 सर थे तो उसे दशानन कहते, तो जिसके 65 सर हो गए उसको क्या बोलोगे? इवन कमलेंद्र जी, यू कैन हेल्प, कुछ नाम दे सको तो, बिकॉज दैट वुड बी द नेम ऑफ अस, वी हैव ऑल द 64 क्वालिटीज। जब मैंने कहा कि भैरव वेयर्स दो 64 हेड्स एंड डांसेस, you are wearing all the 64 desires and dancing. That's what I speak of. So let me rush through. We'll not talk more about that because वो कहते हैं ना भाई, समझदार को, got it? I don't have enough to complete that sentence. The intelligent person only needs a hint. समझदार को इशारा काफी होता है। और आप तो इतना समझदार हो कि मैंने जैसे ही कहा कि समझदार को, आप समझ गए, मुझे ये भी बोलना नहीं पड़ा कि इशारा काफी होता है। तो समझदार तो हो आप। So let's go ahead. So I'll hint you all that because all the skulls that Bhairava wears comes from a different variety of things. It might come from a seeker, from a king, from a queen, from a yogi, from a demon, from a commoner, from an, मतलब जितने तरीके के इंसान हो चुके उनका एक एक वेराइटी का सर लेके पहन लिया शायद। A head of a queen, a head of a king, a head of a seeker, a head of a yogi, a head of a demon. He is wearing that. And all of them were bound to one of the 64 impulses. Now, what I am going to say should not bring questions within you. Then only I will speak, because the very first thing that I am going to say will raise 1,000 questions within you. वो कहते हैं ना कि when God appears, it shines like 1,000 suns. This one sentence will arise 1,000 questions within you. It's that powerful. But don't go with the questions. Hear it, because that's what will liberate you. पहला ही काफी है, बाकी 64 तक जाऊंगा नहीं जाऊंगा पता नहीं। The first, desire for love, the longing to merge, to belong, to be adored, to be adorned. Now, the moment I say the desire to merge is a very good desire, right? I want to merge into the divine. How can this be a vice? If you have a desire to merge in the divine, that's another story. But if you have the desire to dissolve in this world, that's the problem. So that desire to be loved, the desire to be, हम हमेशा वही कुछ कहते हैं, अरे कोई तो हमको थोड़ा सा प्यार कर ले हम। हाँ, देयर इज ए सॉन्ग ऑफ देवानंद, राइट? पल भर के लिए कोई हमें प्यार कर ले, थोड़ा ही, झूठा ही सही, राइट? एंड वी आर एक्चुअली लिविंग दैट सॉन्ग। When I hear that song, I still think like this is actually the reality of this world. पल भर के लिए कोई मुझे प्यार कर ले, झूठा ही सही, means I am okay not to find the true love of the divine. I am okay with that small little falsified love of this world. I'm okay with that. मतलब इतना नीचे आ चुका हूं कि मुझे पता है कि मुझे कोई प्यार नहीं करेगा तो झूठा ही कर ले। No, you have to rise to that level. You have to awake to that space where the divine falls in love with you. You are not just trying to merge. The divine is waiting to pull you into itself. मानो जैसे अभी ये 10 तारीख है ना, What do you think? It is the other way around. Somebody said it very well yesterday to me कि ऐसा लग रहा है कि इस बार हम 10 तारीख के तरफ नहीं, 10 तारीख हमारे तरफ भाग रहा है. We are not running towards the 10th is running towards us. It's a great way of looking at that. So that's what I say. You are no more running towards the divine is running towards you. So the first is the desire to even have a false little love from someone. And that too for पल भर के लिए. और वैसे भी इन द एंटायर हिस्ट्री ऑफ क्रिएशन आपका जीवन पल भर का ही है. और इस पल भर में आप झूठा प्रेम ढूंढ लेते हो और उसी प्रेम में थोड़ी देर हंस लेते हो और ज्यादा देर रो लेते हो. कृष्णा ब्रश कर रहे हैं. Okay, that is one thing. And the second thing is desire for hatred. बोले ये से भी होते हैं क्या? द डिजायर टू बी हेटेड. अच्छा, डिजायर टू लव तो फिर भी ठीक था भाई, कोई तो सोचे कम से कम झूठा ही सही. लेकिन द डिजायर टू बी हेटेड, let me tell you this. Some people get so thrilled when they are rejected. They feel like, oh, how rejected I am, how punishing I am, how dominating are others on me. And they feel that pain in such a way as if they're enjoying that pain. It's just like intoxication. You drink spirit, the spirit burns you and you still feel ecstatic. That's what people say. I cannot say anything about it. I don't have any experience of it. I have heard it. Sorry, I don't have experiences of certain things. वो जला देता है, कहते जैसे ही मुंह में रखते हो जलने लगता है, लेकिन उसी में कहते वाह कितना सुंदर जल रहा है ये. And that's what I say. Sometimes people find ways to feel neglected. Sometimes people find ways to feel small. Sometimes people find out ways to feel rejected. अरे जब भगवान ने आपको अपना लिया, अपने स्वरूप में बना लिया, किस में क्या ताकत है कि आपको रिजेक्ट कर दे? When he has already accepted you, and the best way to learn that he has already accepted you because you can take his name, that's enough. आप उसका नाम ले सकते हो. आप तो अपने भाई बंधु पड़ोसियों को जी, आप आज्ञा गारू कह के बुलाते हो, कृष्ण को कृष्ण बुलाते हो. कभी ये नहीं था कृष्ण जी आप कैसे हैं, नहीं, आप कहते कृष्ण कैसा है. जब उसने आपको इतना हक दे रखा है कि आप उसको उसके नाम से बुला सकते हो, ये दुनिया वाले आपको जी ना बोले तो आपका जी क्यों घबराता है जी? तो पार्ले को भी जी कहते. समझ में आया? So at times we go into that zone when we try to find out ways to feel bad. Yes or no? And you should be freed from that as well. भैरव वो सर को काट देता है जो सर सिर्फ यही सब सीखता है. अब तो जो पार्ले जी देखोगे तो बोलोगे. So then comes the third one, the desire to possess, to claim that this is mine. People, places, things. ये मेरा है, मेरा ही रहेगा. And in the movie, जो कृष्ण ने गीता में कहा है, एक मूवी में कहते हैं कि अरे पगलू जो कल तेरा था आज किसी और का है, कल किसी और का होगा. And that's what I say. अरे पगलू, जब तू कहता है कि ये मेरा है, ये मेरा है, ये मेरा है, ये तो पहले ही गिर जाता है. उसके बाद ये भी गिर ही जाएगा, और जब ये गिर जाएगा सब गिर जाएगा. तो याद रखना पगलू, बुला सकता हूं ना आपको। बड़ा अच्छा लगता है नाम ऐसा। कहते पगलू बोलते, ऐसे वैसे देखे पकड़ के बोलते, पगलू, जो कल तेरा था आज किसी और का है, परसों किसी और का होगा, याद रखना। द डिजायर टू ओन एवरीथिंग, you will never be. You remember the story of that person who was given, the king said, like, you can go and run as far as you can from the morning till the evening, and as far as you cover, but the circle should be complete, and as far as you can cover, that is yours. तू भाग भाग के जा, जितने जमीन तू भाग सकता है सुबह से लेके शाम तक, जितना जमीन तू कवर कर लेगा, लेकिन सर्कल कंप्लीट होना चाहिए, उतना जमीन तेरा। भागना शुरू करता है, भागता है, भागता है, भागता है। दूसरे दिन तो कम से कम रुक जाता था कुछ खाने के लिए, कुछ पीने के लिए। आज रुका नहीं, कि अगर रुक गया तो खाना पीने के चक्कर में जमीन छूट जाएगा। भागता गया, भागता गया, भागता गया। न जाने कितने नदी, कुएं, कूप सामने आए। प्यासा था, भागता रहा, भागता रहा, भागता रहा। शाम हो गई, पैर साथ देना छोड़ दिए, सांसें फूल चुकी हैं, फिर भी नहीं रुका। सूरज अभी ढलने वाला है, और थोड़ा भाग लो। भागता रहा, भागता रहा, और अंत में वो सूरज डूबा नहीं डूबा पता नहीं, ये डूब गया अपने लोभ में। He drowned in his own desires, kept on running, never could complete the circle. कुछ गज दूरी पे ही गिर गया, dead. And that's how the desire to have everything will just do that way. And I would like to narrate you a very beautiful way how nature speaks to that, because when I was talking yesterday, something beautiful appeared.
And that beauty would be a reminder to all of us. Are you still able to hear my voice?
Manaji, check your mic.
Check now.
Now,
Yes, perfect, perfect.
मतलब क्या सोचे देखे, कुछ देर के लिए आपकी सांसें भी रुक जाती हैं, मानो आप भी सब कुछ जान लेना चाहते हो, सब कुछ सीख लेना चाहते हो। और कृष्ण ब्रश कर रहे थे, तो उन्होंने क्या किया, माइक बंद कर दिया, बोला देख कैसे विचलित होते हैं। कुछ देर आवाज सुनाई नहीं दी, और डरने लगते हैं कि अरे अरे क्या छूट गया मुझसे, क्या छूट गया। जो आपका नहीं था वो आप तक नहीं पहुंचा, बस उतना ही है। But yesterday I was talking, and I came on to a beautiful understanding जो बातों बातों में निकल गया, and this act so apt to it. You have seen the plants, right? जो देता है वो रहता है, जो नहीं देता उसको उखाड़ दिया जाता है। This is a statement, okay? The one who gives stays, the one who does not is uprooted. देखो, जो पेड़ फल फूल देना सीख जाता है वो दीर्घ काल तक रहता है, और जो आलू सिर्फ अपने अपने बारे में सोचता है ना, तो आलू और कांदा होता है जो अपने आप के बारे में सोचता है और सब कुछ छिपा के रखने की कोशिश करता है, उसको उखाड़ लिया जाता है। Yes or no? The potatoes and the onions that they only think of themselves, and they try to hide what has been given to them, they hide it everything. The carrot, the gajar, the moolies, जो सब कुछ छिपा के रखना चाहता है कि मैं किसी को नहीं दूंगा, उसी को उखाड़ दिया जाता है। दैट्स नेचर। और पूरा का पूरा खा लिया जाता है। इट इज सेवर्ड कंप्लीटली। और जो देना सीख गया वो युगों तक खड़ा रहता है। व्हाट डिड यू लर्न फ्रॉम नेचर? सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने लिए सोचोगे और छिपा के रखोगे, पूरा मूल सहित उखाड़ दिए जाओगे। यस और नो? कृष्ण जी ब्रश कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि आप कई बार वो मूली कांदा बन चुके हो. You have already become the onions and potatoes. He has uprooted you many times. And again he stays and says, अभी भी कांदा बन के बैठा है, अभी भी गाजर बन के बैठा है, अभी भी मूली बन के बैठा है, कब जागेगा? जाग रहे हो? Are you awaking? That's how you should be. Then comes, ये भगवान, आप सच में पीटोगे ये सुनने के बाद. Desire to surrender. अब गया. बोले मतलब जो जो आपने सिखाया था आज उसी के बारे में उल्टा बोल रहे हो आप. तो सुनो फिर इसे. द डिजायर टू सरेंडर, द विश टू बी प्रोटेक्टेड, टू सबमिट, टू लेट अनदर वन कैरी योर बर्डन. कोई मेरा अस्थि पंजर उठा के चले बस. I am not talking about the surrenderness that you have towards the divinity. I am talking about the surrenderness that we think that world will take care of me. है ना? So that's where this, you should always be very careful that I should be protected. Somebody will be carrying my burden. But what was the last word of Gautam Buddha? Apo Deepo Bhava. Be your own light. That's the indication. Then comes the desire for knowledge. अरे बोले आज क्या करवा रहे हो तुम? What are you doing now? What are we doing here sitting? We are not hungry for knowledge. We are knowing what is truth so that the knowledge that is not true can be discarded. Make sense? So the desire of knowledge, the hunger to know, to master all the secrets, to decode all the mysteries. That's what is a desire is. But rather than all of it, if you just decode your own self, you know your own self, आत्म साक्षात्कार हो जाना. Then the desire for power, the wish to command, rule and control. Then comes, सच में पिटोगे भाई, because understand one thing, these are all coming from Bhairava. And as I said, for him there is no good, there is no bad, neither good nor bad. The only thing that it knows is the truth. अब कुछ लोग सच में कैमरा ऑफ करके भाग भी सकते हैं मेरे बोलने के बाद. डिजायर टू वर्शिप, पूजा करने का मन. बोले व्हाट इज दिस, व्हाट आर यू स्पीकिंग ऑल दिस टुडे? To place something on the pedestal, to find the divine outside rather than within. सिर्फ और सिर्फ किसी को बाहर बिठा दो और उसी को भगवान मानो और उस भगवान को अपने अंदर ना देखो, ये मूर्खता है. The desire to worship, no, it is not just the desire to worship, it becoming the worship itself. मतलब मानो जैसे एक तिलक उधर लगाए और you are looking at that idol of Krishna and you are putting that tilak, लेकिन छाप आपके अंदर लग जाए. कैसे? छाप तिलक सब छीन ली मुझसे नैना मिलाई के. Now he just looked into me and all my desires are disappeared. छाप तिलक सब छीन ली मुझसे नैना मिलाई के. What a beautiful way of looking at that. मतलब सारे गाने कितने अच्छे बनाए हैं नहीं? So that's where the desire to worship. It is not about showing people that, oh, I am worshipping this way. It's worshipping within. Then comes one of the most amazing things that आप लोग शायद उस स्तर तक नहीं पहुंचे, बट कुछ लोग उस स्तर तक पहुंच चुके हैं, उनके लिए बताना चाहूंगा. डिजायर टू बी वर्शिप्ड. to become the center of devotion, to be praised. मतलब सब आपके सामने हाथ जोड़े, आहा हा, कितने अच्छे हो आप, कितने महान हो आप, कितने दिव्य हो आप, आपसे बड़ा संत तो हमने आज तक अंत तक नहीं देख पाएंगे. This desire, you see, when we do this sadhana and certain people will start taking care of some groups, be very careful of that, because that is the easiest target of ego. The moment people start praising you, you did something really good, and God forbidden, one fine day if somebody bows down in front of you, you don't know what it does to you. कभी भी आपके सामने कोई झुके उससे पहले आप झुक जाना. Before somebody bows to you, you should bow down before that. ताकि कभी ये यहां ना चढ़ जाए. Because that will happen. So be careful of that. Then comes the desire of fame, the craving, right? The craving of acknowledgement, the craving of admiration by the world. संसार मेरे बारे में अच्छा अच्छा बोले. Divine for fame. सब मुझे जान ले, सब मुझे पहचान ले. Then comes the desire of obscurity. Obscurity का मतलब क्या होता है कि the wish to just vanish, to be unseen, unburdened by identity. क्योंकि भैरव क्या कहता है कि आप एक तरफ का नहीं हो सकते. You cannot just be on the one side. Can you do sadhana without this body also? So you need the body to do the sadhana. Can the body do sadhana without you? No. So that means the duality work together to build the way towards reality. So there comes the desire of obscurity, then comes the desire for security, to hold on to safety, routine, protection, mundane things. Then the desire for danger. मतलब कुछ लोग होते हैं ना डेयर डेविल्स, टेस्ट द लिमिट्स, टू फील द रश ऑफ रिस्क, टू डांस ऑन द एज ऑफ द माउंटेन. दैट्स द डिजायर ऑफ डेंजर. डिजायर फॉर फूड, कुछ अच्छा खा लूं, कुछ अच्छा खा लूं, कुछ अच्छा खा लूं. प्लेजर, इंडल्जेंस, कंफर्ट थ्रू टेस्ट. Then there would come like the desire for fasting, the ascetic urge to deny the body just in order to feel pure, that if I don't eat, I'll be more purified. कभी कभी इसीलिए गौतम बुद्ध क्या कहते हैं? What is poison? Anything in excess. Sugar tastes good. Excess sugar, poison. Little salt tastes good. More salt, poison. So अति इति हो जाता है. Is anything to the max becomes poisonous. So the desire for fasting, the ascetic urge कि मैं भी बिल्कुल वैसे ही हो जाऊं. Then comes the desire for sexual union, physical ecstasy, merging flesh with flesh, and thinking like, oh, this is a life. That's quite destructive. Then comes the desire of celibacy. Oh, so I'll be bilkul celibate throughout the rise above passion, to sublimate the sexual into spiritual. I'll just crush every desire of mine. Then comes another one that falls like it becomes so falsified things it creates. The desire to give. मतलब the generosity that I feel, oh, मुझे देने में बड़ा मजा आ रहा है. When I give this, I do this, I do that, I help this way, I do help that way. The generosity that I do to show people, to protect, to nourish others. कभी भी उसके झांसे में मत फंसना. वो कहते हैं ना, ये हाथ करे, ये हाथ को पता नहीं होना चाहिए. नेकी कर, दरिया में डाल, किसी के कान में नहीं. Do good, throw it away. That's, be very careful with all that things, because these are the things we should be keeping a small little board of, and look at this, what I am falling into. Then the desire to hoard means to accumulate everything, to gather, to keep, to accumulate beyond necessity. Desire to teach, मुझ में अभी ज्ञान आ गया है, अब मैं सबको सिखा सकता हूं. The desire to teach, to impart knowledge, to uplift, to be a guide. याद रखना, गुरु होने से पहले शिष्य होना जरूरी है, गुरु होने के बाद शिष्य रहना जरूरी है. Did you understand what I said? Before even you become a teacher, you should be a student, and after becoming a teacher, you should be a student. गुरु होने से पहले शिष्य होना जरूरी है, गुरु होने के बाद शिष्य रहना जरूरी है. रहना मतलब बाहर के शिष्य की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. You should always be a learner. नहीं तो रावण को भी ज्ञान का अभिमान हो गया था. So desire to teach, desire to remain silent, to hold your secrets, to stay hidden, to observe rather than speak. कुछ भी नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं सब कुछ अपने अंदर रख लूंगा. To remain silent. The desire for rebirth, the hope for new beginnings, new opportunities, fresh stories. ये भी एक डिजायर है कि मैं पुनर्बार आऊंगा, जो इस बार नहीं कर पाया अगले बार कर जाऊंगा. वो अगली बार कभी नहीं आता. Then comes, there is another desire, the desire for the final release, the wish to finish, dissolve, break the wheel of birth forever. Desire कि मैं कुछ ऐसा कर लूं. वो करते करते मर गए तो. मुक्त होना है तो अभी होना है, because tomorrow never dies. Are you free now is the question. You remember the last time जब आभा जी मुझे प्रश्न किए थे, तो हमने उनको एक ही चीज कहा था कि हमको कहीं जाना नहीं है. जाना तो उसे है जो घर में नहीं है. वी आर ऑलरेडी होम. हम यहीं से सब कुछ देख सकते हैं. एंड यू सिट एट योर होम एंड यू सी. डिजायर कुछ भी नहीं है. कृष्ण दांतुन करने दो, हम उनके घर में ही बैठे हैं. वी आर देयर. ऑलवेज हैव दैट इन माइंड रादर देन थिंकिंग और क्या कर लो और क्या कर लो. राइट? जो मार्ग पकड़ लो उस मार्ग पे चलते रहो. कीप वॉकिंग ऑन दैट पाथ. नाउ डिजायर टू कॉन्कर डेथ, टू बिकम इमॉर्टल. आज तक कोई नहीं हो पाया, और जिसने कभी चाहा नहीं कि वो इमॉर्टल हो जाए वही बन जाता है. शिव को कभी देखा है अमृत के पीछे भागते हुए? उसने जहर पी लिया, हलाहल पी लिया, क्योंकि उसको पता था क्योंकि वो मरेगा ही नहीं. ही इज ऑलरेडी इमॉर्टल. आत्मा, आत्मा को कोई जहर नहीं मार सकता, और आप वो परमात्मा का आत्मा हो. You are that. So don't even think of conquering death, because death is already conquered by you. And then comes the desire to die. मर जाऊं, मिट जाऊं. The wish to end, to stop struggling. That is also not the path. That's again another trap. Desire for victory, जीत जाऊं सबसे और सबसे, सब कुछ से और सबसे. I should conquer everything. Desire for defeat, अरे मैं तो हारने ही वाला हूं, मैं झुक जाऊं, मैं रुक जाऊं, मैं मिट जाऊं, क्योंकि मैं हारने वाला हूं. द डिजायर ऑफ डिफीट. डिजायर टू बी ए पेरेंट, टू नर्चर, प्रोटेक्ट एंड लिव थ्रू अनदर्स ग्रोथ. जो मैं नहीं कर पाया मेरा बच्चा कर जाए. What I could not achieve, I could not become a doctor, now my son should become a doctor now. I could not become an engineer, my son, daughter should become an engineer now. The desire. देखो, याद रखना एक चीज. Your kids have come through you, not from you. They have come through you, not from you. It's just like the water came through the pipe, not from the pipe. समझ आया? So they have just come through you. You have become the channel through which they have come. You have become the parent. Take care, nurture, but don't just get strangulated in that. अब कोई जरूर पिटेगा, क्योंकि ये मैं जब बोलूंगा तो किसी को, सबको मोस्ट प्रोबेबली किसी का नाम याद आएगा. द डिजायर टू रिमेन चाइल्ड लाइक. अबोध बालक. अब सब जानते, देखो हाथ जोड़ लिए उन्होंने कि बोला अबोध बालक, अब क्या करूं. बोला यहां से भी फंसा दिया. देखो मैं वही कहता हूं, भैरव ना आपको कहीं का नहीं रखेगा, क्योंकि आप कहीं के रह गए तो वहीं के रह जाओगे. उसके हो जाओ, उसी के हो जाओगे. तो कहीं का क्यों रहना जब उसके हो सकते हैं. So he says, the desire to be childlike, to play, to stay carefree, innocent, protected. Yes, all these things are needed, but in front of whom have you become innocent? Who is your protector? अगर वो सही है तो innocent होना सही है. And then desire for friendship, companionship, so that I can share my laughter, share my sorrows. Then desire for solitude, to be alone, the desire to be alone. And then the desire of ritual, discipline, structure, ceremonial powers. Then comes the desire for chaos, spontaneity, creativity. Because when you think chaos is a bad language or a wrong language, but chaos is something that also creates creativity. It stirs everything out. उसमें अचानक क्रिएटिविटी आना, उसका मतलब क्या है? Something has appeared, nothing from which is not even close to that. Are you able to hear my voice? Okay. Then desire for loyalty, devotion, alliance, unbreakable bond. Desire for loyalty is also a problem in us. Desire for freedom, मतलब मुझे कोई ना रोके, मैं जो चाहूं वो करूं. Desire to heal, to fix, restore, and make whole and complete. Desire to destroy, to break, transform, raze to the ground. Desire to dream, to imagine, envision, create mental universes. Desire to wake, to see what truly is, no illusions. Desire for compassion, to protect the weak, to stand for justice, to love even the broken. Desire for cruelty, the dark wish to cause pain, to test power, to dominate. Desire for pleasure, sensual delights, all five senses intoxicated. Desire for pain, the wish to feel intensity even through suffering. Desire for order, to create rules, to create predictable things, to plan everything. Then desire of anarchy means rebellion, lawlessness. I want to remake this universe completely. That's anarchy. Desire to build, to create, to leave a legacy, to do something, this, that. Desire to burn it all down. मन करता है सब कुछ जला के राख कर दूं. That is also extreme. Desire for reconciliation means to mend the bridges, heal everything. Desire for reconciliation. Desire for revenge, to avenge, to correct what is done wrong to you, trying to harm others, trying to make them understand what you are going through. That's how revenge also keeps you into that pool of the dark waters. Desire to experience God, to taste the divine, is also at times a stopgap that does not allow you to go beyond it. desire to become God, to transcend, worship, to be the center of divinity, कि सब कुछ मैं भगवान बन गया और सब कुछ मेरी पूजा करते रहो. Desire to serve, to be humble, to work in devotion. वो डिजायर कभी कभी आपको pull you down because you are doing something good to others. But what is the ground reality of it? Why are you doing it? आप कहीं इसलिए तो नहीं कर रहे कि लोग आपको अच्छा बोल रहे हैं. आप कहीं इसलिए तो नहीं कर रहे कि मुझे लगने लगा है कि अरे रे रे देखो इनका कौन देखभाल करता था, आज मैं हूं इसलिए इनकी देखभाल चल रही है. And more than that, at times it becomes such heavy on us that you forget your way back home. आप कहाँ से चले थे, कहाँ से शुरू हुए थे और आपका स्रोत क्या है वो भी भूल जाते हैं, ये सोच के कि देने वाला मैं हूं. दिया किसने था? Who was the one who is actually giving? And we know like संत कबीर जी जब देते थे तो सर झुक जाता था उनका. वो क्या था? देने वाला कोई और है. There is a beautiful actually chaupai for that. I missed it. Means he says that the giver is somebody else. Why should I even look at what and to whom I am giving? Time is rushing, so I will also come faster than that. The desire to command, to lead, to shape destiny. Desire to remember, to preserve, to hold on to the stories. All the things that I have told, let me remember all that. Not possible, not required. Desire to forget. सब कुछ भूल जाऊं मैं तो कितना अच्छा होगा. Desire for simplicity. मैं इतना सिंपल बन जाऊं कि बस. Desire for grandeur. I should have the best of best. Desire to play within duality, to dance with dark and light, exploring both. The desire of union, to merge, only to merge into that. Dissolve immediately. Desire for individuality, to shine in a unique spark. मतलब मेरे जैसा कोई ना चमके. Different from the crowd. Desire for discipline, self-mastery, hard, tough rules, unwavering focus. मतलब अगर देख रहा हूं तो देख रहा हूं. Unwavering, absolute hard, fast rules. Desire for abandon, throwing away everything, running into the wilderness. Unrestrained living, absolutely living on your own terms, means abandoning everything else. Desire to know death, to decode the mystery of death itself, crossing the final threshold, how it would happen. Then the 64th is the desire to know eternity, the wish to taste that which never ends, never changes. So these are the 64 skulls. But I told you all these 64 things not to put you to shame, but to awaken you. Because Bhairava wears them because he has danced in every one of these impulses, then purified them in the cremation fire of fearless awareness. When you see them, when you read all these words, when you think of all these words that I spoke, don't get disheartened, don't get pulled into the dark waters. Rather, when you see them, it is just like seeing a mirror of your own subconscious. Your hungers, your fears, your joys, your shadows, your contradictions. Because Bhairava says, he does not ask you to destroy these desires, because Bhairava will never ask you to destroy these desires by suppression. He asks you to see them offer them, transform them, and then dance above them in freedom. सब कुछ देने के बाद उसके ऊपर नृत्य करना. Because in each of our lifetimes, these desires have reappeared within us, wearing 1,000 masks. They rise in the mind, promising fulfillment, but leave us starving. That's what all these things do to us. And Bhairava, in his terrifying compassion, hunted these 64 desires through endless time. He beheaded them one by one and wore them skulls around the neck. वो सारे 64 के 64 मुंडमाल पहन लेता है. Just to remind us who we see him, to remind all who see him that desire can never be destroyed, only transcended. इच्छाओं को मृत्यु नहीं प्रदान की जा सकती, उसको बदला जा सकता है. He does not throw these skulls away, he honors them. He knows these were once pathways towards growth, lessons, learnings through pain. So he keeps them sacred, purified by the fire of truth. And each skull glows with a subtle blue flame, like a mantra, singing very, very softly. Each flame is a desire transformed into freedom. And when a sadhak looks at Bhairava's garland and trembles, Bhairava would laugh at him and say, "Do not fear these skulls, they are your own faces. Do not fear desire, understand it, transcend it, burn it into bliss. And remember this, O dears, in daily life, each of these desires may appear, may rise within us. That is normal, that is human. But under circumstances, call on Bhairava. Feel his Trishul in your heart and let him burn each skull to a purified pearl of bliss. Then you will know what it means to wear a garland of skulls, not in horror, but in absolute, unstoppable, ecstatic liberation. And now I would keep a break to my words by saying, Jai Ananda Bhairava. May you show me the right path of these 64 desires. These cannot be destroyed, but you are the transformer. So do transform me. Mold me the way you want. Hold me the way you want. And even scold me the way you want. So जिस किसी तरीके से भी. And now coming, just I will take 5 more minutes of yours. The list has come. I spent almost, along with Hari Bhai, nearly 2.5 to 3 hours just to read what you have written. And after reading all that, going through all of it, we have already chosen the people. The people are categorized into 3 categories. So when I have distributed into the 3 categories, it does not keep you in the ranking of 1, 2, and 3. Because I still remember in our school days, they used to make us on a table. The highest table is the first, then the second, then the third. Don't go by the sequence, but by the way we have decided it. And I just tell it in this way, that we have distributed it into 3 categories. And we will be calling the ones, those who are going to be initiated, as the Sanchalaks. The Bhairavas and Bhairavis could be the name that will follow, but for now, the Sanchalaks means the ones, those who will be carrying out the work now. So Sanchalaks can be of two types. One, the Swadeshi Sanchalak and the Videshi Sanchalaks. Means the ones, those who are in India and the ones, those who are abroad. And then there are few people, those who have given their forms, they want to do it, but they have limitations. And they will become something that I call as the Pathaks, means the ones, those who will recite. So there are three categories: Swadeshi Sanchalak, Pathaks, and Videshi Sanchalaks. Videshi does not make you Videshi anyways. Okay, it's only because of your location that you are right now. And there are two ways to do the initiation for the Videshi Sanchalaks, because you have a tough role actually to play. And anyways, I'll guide you on that part, what needs to be done. For the Swadeshi Sanchalaks or the Bhairavas and Bhairavis of those who are attending physically, for them, the initiation will happen on 10th. And then for the Pathaks, I will narrate them how they can do their sadhana and how they can contribute, because their physicality does not allow them to do certain things. Family issues, physical and problems, time constraints. There might be so many things in this world, right? So कुछ चीजें उनको allow नहीं कर पाती. Might be the fear to even speak in front of the people. So those people will be trained as the Pathaks, and slowly they will also become the ones, they will also become the Swadeshi or the Videshi Sanchalaks. Now when these three are distributed, now the list will be published by this afternoon. US people, you can sleep, you can wake up in the morning, you can see there is no problem, because the Videshi Sanchalaks have another day of initiation altogether. But how it will happen is now the question. Either I fly there and you accumulate one place and we complete that initiation process, or we do that sitting here, you sitting at your home. This discretion goes into the hands of the Videshi Sanchalaks, because there is a group, right? The US group is there, which is not pretty active. But whichever way, and that entire group has not even submitted the things because they might not be aware of it. So whichever way it works, I am okay to sit here and do the same thing. But the thing is, the glimpse that you are going to see of the sadhana that will be done, the kind of initiation that is going to happen, I will not tell anything about it. You just even see the images of that and you will understand. So the list will be published by this afternoon. And you see, out of the 64, what arises within you. भैरव के 64 मालाओं में से कौन सी माला जागृत होती है आपके अंदर, वो देख लेना, because that has to be severed. You cannot be like this or like this. You should learn to dance in every situation. Make sense? तभी भैरव बनोगे, तभी भैरवी बन सकते हो. हम तो ये कहते, जब राधा नाचती होगी तो ये नहीं सोच के नाचती होगी कि मैं कैसे नाच रही हूँ, वो बस नाचती थी. मीरा जब गाती होगी तो ये नहीं सोच के गाती होगी कि मेरा सुर सही लग रहा है कि नहीं लग रहा. जब तुकाराम महाराज कुछ कहते होंगे, ये सोच के नहीं कहते होंगे कि कैसे कहेंगे. जब विठला के सामने बैठ के कुम्हार मिट्टी कोंदता होगा, ये नहीं सोचता होगा कि मैं कैसे कर रहा हूं. सो ऑल दिस, कृष्ण जब बांसुरी पकड़ के बजा रहे होंगे, ये नहीं सोच रहे होंगे कि बांसुरी की धुन कैसे आती है। देखो, बांसुरी की धुन कृष्ण की तरह आती है, क्योंकि कृष्ण बांसुरी बन जाते हैं, सुर बन जाते हैं, ध्वनि बन जाते हैं, प्रतिध्वनि बन जाते हैं। सो दैट्स व्हाट आई से, whatever, it is a very good way to look at where you are being halted, what is pulling you back. So it is not a result, it is just a announcement how we are going to go ahead. Once that group is created, I will start communicating what needs to be done in these upcoming days even before that happens. ठीक, और साथ ही साथ what you have to do. So, and of course, after telling all that, I can give you an option. You, if you don't align with what I have said, if you think like it is too much to ask, you can still get yourself removed from that group. I don't have any issues. It's absolutely your choice. Okay? So this is what I have to share. Loads and loads of things to be done on my part. Loads and loads of things to be done by all of you. Loads and loads of things to be done by Haribhai as well. But we are strong. Because we are no more the humans. We are the trident of Shiva. और शिव ने पकड़ रखा है। जाओ। So with this, I pass it over to Haribhai if he has anything to say or share. Most probably this Wednesday will not be having Q&A sessions. Most probably we'll be meeting directly on Wednesday, or sorry, Thursday. That's Guru Purnima. But till then, if you have something left out, you can go back and listen to the Bhairava talks. Okay, and who knows if he appears again before Guru Purnima to say, let's talk few more things. Till then, Jai Anand Bhairav, Har Har Mahadev, बोलो बांके बिहारी लाल की जय, राधा वल्लभ लाल की जय, मुकुंद मोहन लाल की जय, मोर मुकुटधारी कान्हा की जय, और इन सब के मन मोह लेने वाली राधा रानी की जय। राधे राधे।